Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to my channel. Sorry for the rather crappy text on the bottom of the logo there. I couldn't find the original with the proper graphics. I'll find that for the next one. So tonight I am going to do an unboxing of my new monitor, which arrived today. Even during quarantine, the people all around the world are managing to deliver packages, so that's good. Now this monitor was brought to my attention by a good friend of mine, Robot1, who I game with quite a bit. It is on a site a lot of people probably know, Banggood, and it looks a little bit too good to be true, especially for the price that I paid for it. However, the reviews were very good. There were 94 reviews, 92 of them were 5-star, and the only 2 that weren't 5-star were 4-star. And people were pleasantly surprised, so that was very good to know. So I went ahead and bought one. So what I've got here, I've actually got the page open. Now the price has changed quite a bit so you can see it's now up to 102 reviews. 100 of them are 5-star. So I haven't left a game review yet, a product review yet, as I haven't yet opened the box. I haven't tested it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it live. I'm also recording this and I'll upload it to YouTube later on. So I'm going to unbox this live, and then I'll actually set it up probably tomorrow evening, so Friday evening, and give it a go over the weekend, as I don't want to disrupt what I've already got set up until I know I've got a bit of time to fiddle around and play with it and get used to it. So one thing I've noticed, so this one actually shipped from their Spanish warehouse, which they've obviously removed. So they've got the China, USA and shipping, and Czech Republic. Now depending on where you select, you get a different shipping price. The only option is black, and the delivery also has gone up to a week now, because it's coming from the Czech Republic. When it was coming from Spain, it said 3 days. It actually took 7, but that's because when it left Spain, when it was about to leave Spain, because you get a tracking information. I tracked it all the way. They actually sterilized the package, and then when it leaves the shipping center, it arrives in the UK, they sterilize the package again, and then obviously it goes out for delivery. And it arrived about 5 or 6 hours ago for me, and I've just had it sat at the side ready for a live stream to open it up. So yeah, so it's a 34-inch. It's a Chinese monitor, so it's a Xiaomi, which I've never heard of, but I thought I'd give it a go. So the price that is listed on the screen at the moment isn't actually the price that I paid for it. It's gone up. It would appear that all the ones from the Spanish center have actually gone, so they're a little more expensive now. So it's 21:9. It's this big fish screen. Now we couldn't quite figure out what that meant, but we have a feeling that it could mean fisheye because it's curved. However, fisheye, especially in photography terms, is generally the other way, so that doesn't really make any sense. It also claims it's 144 Hz. As I say, reading the reviews, no one has said it's not 144 Hz. Now I was looking for a 144 Hz screen. I currently run 2 just 60 Hz screens. I was looking for a 144 Hz screen, 2 of, and they were going to be phenomenally expensive, especially for what I was after. So this one, at the price that I got it for, was very good. The resolution is very high, 3440 by 1440, so about the size of 2 monitors, and slightly bigger than 2 1080s. Which is, again, it's quite nice. Now we had a look at the instructions, the measurements, sorry, and it looked like it was going to be absolutely massive. And it's arrived in this box. It's not actually as big as I thought it was. I'll show you in just a moment when I switch over to the cameras. So it's not actually as big physically as I thought it was going to be. So I may be able to later on stick it up on the desk and plug it into something and see what it looks like. Now the page, when they ran out of these monitors on from the Spanish warehouse, they actually took this page down. I thought, oh, it'd be good if I could just have it up on here. Now they have actually got the page back, because they've obviously got some more. So it's got quite a lot of, you can see here, it's got reviews of stuff. People have done video reviews, and then it goes into the actual details about the screen. So it's got about not sticking, not tearing, things you would think. So here it is. So weight, it says 10.5 kilos. I would say that's fairly generous. It's probably slightly less than that. And then obviously the actual physical dimensions of 81 centimeters, 52.24. So it's probably about that. 81. Yeah, I've got a tape measure. I'll actually measure it out later. Once I've got it out of the box, I'll actually measure it. But I would say, given the box size, that is a fairly accurate representation. Then obviously the technical specs here: 3440 by 1440, 21:9. I'm not 100% sure what this curve ratio means. 144 hertz, 4 milliseconds, 16.7 million colors, blah 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 blah. Now this was what was quite interesting. So if you buy there's quite a few other curved monitors out there. Again, they're really reasonably expensive compared to this one, and they will usually only have one display port in and one, maybe two HDMI. Now this one's actually got two HDMI in and two display port. From looking at some of the images that are on this website, so for example, there's one, where is it? This one here, for example. You can see the two taskbars at the bottom. And I have a feeling, although I'm not 100% sure, obviously without unboxing and having a look, I think you can actually have two inputs and treat it like two separate monitors. So theoretically, you could have two PCs plugged in without having to go through the menu and change the input, which would be interesting. And then further down, it's lots and lots of rather large pictures and fancy graphics like this one. Stuff like this. They're basically just trying to sell it, really nice box art from PUBG. Again, box art superimposed on the screen. So that's actually something that really annoys me, is when they try to sell screens or graphics cards, and they just superimpose some graphics, and you think it's never going to look like that. So you can see they've tried to do the difference between 60 hertz and 144 hertz, which hopefully I'll see a difference when I'm actually gaming on it. As I say before, on the page before it got taken down and then obviously reinstated, all of this information was actually in Chinese. So I guessed what it was saying, so this was in Chinese as well. So yeah, so that's the page. I'll endeavour to put a link in the description on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure how you if I can do that. I'm not sure you're allowed to do that. So I'll see about that. Otherwise, yeah, you can send me a message. But yeah, it's on Banggood. You can just search for obviously this information here at the top, the description, and it looks like they've got them back in stock. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over to the cameras, and we'll begin. So I'm going to move away from the microphone in a minute. Hopefully the microphone will be able to pick me up. So I've got two cameras in this stream. So one is generally mounted on top of my monitor, which is this one here. That one's going to be like a top-down view, and the other one, which is down here, is just a rather crappy old Logitech Orbit cam. However, it'll be good for the side. Once I've opened the box, pulled it out, you can see it from the front. Now you can see from the box, this is how it's shipped. So it is sealed with just the tape. I can actually feel the polystyrene in this. It's reasonably well packed. And on the side there, 34-inch, 144 hertz curved gaming monitor. Not particularly ideal if it's going, if you're getting it from somewhere where someone might steal it. However, hardware generally, not all the time, but generally isn't stolen anymore. And it's actually, I've done the English side on this one, because on the other side it's exactly the same as this side here, excuse me, but it's in Chinese. So I've got my helpful handy knife. I'm going to open this up. You might not be able to hear me because I've got to move away from the microphone. I don't have one that I can move with me, but let's begin. The other thing to mention is that this box is, although it's 1 meter long, it's actually too big for me to get the camera high and far enough back to include the whole thing. So I'll move it about a bit as and when I get it out. I'll move it as far back as I can, but as you can see from this camera here, there is another desk and a chair. I could move the chair and move back a little bit, but it's not ideal because it's then under a desk. Okay. Let's move this chair anyway. Throw that down the stair. So as you can see from the top cam, there is a fair amount of packaging in there. It's Chinese, mate. It's definitely Chinese. It's from China. It's not Taiwanese, as we discussed earlier. That's not a thing. So there's decent, decent polystyrene packaging. I can actually feel it goes all the way down to the bottom. So it's going to be a good old pull the whole thing out. So there we go. There's the stand. Ooh, looks like they've included all the proper cables. I'll look at those in a minute. So we'll get rid of this box. And get in this way. Here's the rest of the stand. Okay. So the polystyrene box, I don't know if you can see this, but the polystyrene box is actually curved to fit the monitor in quite nicely. So I'm going to tip this down like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to unpack and assemble the stand quickly so that it'll go on there. So the stand appears to have come in two parts. Third obviously being the monitor itself. So you've got the stand, which is fairly large. It's probably about 300-400 grams, so it's not amazingly heavy, but it'll do the job. You got the arm, which feels slightly better. So it's got this bit here, which appears to be slightly sprung. So I would imagine that you clip it in from the top and then snap it in from the bottom. And it's actually fairly strong to get that moving, and then obviously height adjustment as well. The bottom, unfortunately, is just a plastic pushed together, probably with a bolt, which is in the other pack. Yeah, that's a bolt. So I don't have a screwdriver, so I'll have to look at that in a second. So it's worth mentioning. In this box came this nice little pack here. Now in this pack, I have just noticed, okay, so there's a couple of bags. There's some offset screws. These are like the risers that you get on a PC motherboard, which will be for mounting it onto a wall mount. It also comes with a DisplayPort to DisplayPort cable, so you can plug that in. I'm not going to need this one because I've actually already got one. It's also got 4 screws for mounting it to a VESA plate, so you can put it onto, for example, my screens are on arms. And the last thing it comes with is a power lead. However, this is a Chinese power lead, so that's going to be of absolutely no use to me at all. Right. So I flip the bag, the monitor with the bag on over. Take this bag off. Oh, very nice. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put the stand on it quickly. So from this bottom cam here, it's obviously upside down. Mount it in the top like that. It's got a little button on the back here. Push that down and it just pings into place. It's nice and secure. So let's hit this up. Obviously Xiaomi have decided to on the back, like Dell and HP and stuff. They've actually put their logo on the back here. It just says MI, and it's got a nice little bit of plastic on there, so you can pull it off and keep that nice. The other thing worth mentioning is the control buttons. I can see where that 10 kilos comes from. It's fairly heavy. So on the back right, there are some options buttons. The power one is this one here. The other 4 aren't actually labelled, so I have no idea what they do. The inputs, I would guess, there's a nice little panel here with a hole for cabling, and it feels like it's, yeah, there we go. So this just pulls off. So you just pull that off, and you got yourself, got to crouch down. You got your power connector on this side here. You've got a headphone socket, a DisplayPort 2, DisplayPort 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 1. So as it says, 2 HDMI, 2 DisplayPort. Obviously you do your sound into your monitor and you can plug your headphones into it. I won't be doing that because I have a dedicated headphone sound card, but you could do that if you want. And I believe that this monitor also has speakers going. So flip this back over to the front. So this is the screen from the front. Now, as I said, I need to go quite far back. I'm probably about 1.5 meters away from the camera now, and that is the screen. Now, the only thing I couldn't find was, as I said, on the bottom here, there is this. There's a screw hole here, and the stand has got a hole in it for a bolt, and I can't find a bolt. So I'm gonna have to recheck the pack. Oh, never mind. I've just lifted up the packaging and I found the bolt. So I'll screw that in now. That way I don't have to worry about dropping it. So it's the only downside I've found so far with unboxing this is that everything's in separate little bags. So you've got this single bolt is in a plastic bag. It's also the size of the 2 plastic bags with the other screws in. They could ideally put all those together, but they've obviously decided not to do that. So make sure that's nice and secure. There we go. Right, let's flip this over. So there we go. One 34-inch curved gaming monitor. Now I did say I'd measure it, didn't I? So the widest point is obviously across the top here. So from end to end, it's exactly 81 centimeters. Front to back, so if we went across there to the back, it's about 24, 25, and then height wise, this one's easier because it's on the floor and go to the top of the monitor. That is about 53, 54 centimeters. So they were fairly spot on with their measurements there. The weight, I wouldn't say it's 10 kilos, but it is fairly hefty. It's a good weight. I'd say it's a very good weight. So I'm going to see because I've cleared my desk of all my rubbish. Let me move my my knife. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift it up onto the desk quickly, and if it will fit, and then spin one of the cameras around, and then we can have a look. So if I put this one here, I'm just going to spin this round. No, I'm not, because it doesn't reach. Right, so what I'll do, I will actually do another video with it set up and it plugged in. I'll figure out the menus. I'll do a quick tour, as it were, of the functions, the inputs and the outputs. I'll move one of the cameras around behind me because it's got multiple inputs. So I'm going to try it with a couple of different machines, see how it handles that. Play some games on it, put some video on, see how it works with images and software and stuff. Make sure that it's all good. But it looks like it's a fairly good monitor. As I say, it had about 92 or so reviews when I looked at it. It's now got 102. 100 of them are 5-star, 2 of them are 4-star, but there doesn't appear to be anyone complaining really about it. So thanks for tuning in. Obviously, if you catch this on YouTube, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.